podcast. Today I'm joined by our pastor, Father Keith O'Hare, and today we have a very special guest, John Finch. You may recognize John from his work with the Vigil Project. John, thanks for being here today.
Thanks so much for having me back. Grateful to be here.
John, I want to know a little bit more about your musical experiences and history. So could you tell us a little bit about how you got started and your musical journey to now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, grew up in a very musical household. One of four, and my three sisters and I, we all took piano lessons from my neighbor across the street. And, I was trained classically. I learned, all of the typical, compositions by famous composers. I would say, after a few years, started to kind of venture off the pages and wanted to start creating, my own music, and would embellish here and there on the songs that I was learning, and I felt like that was a sign that there was maybe a little creative in me, and one thing led to another. Fast forward a few years, I grew up in a very small parish, and we started a youth choir as part of the youth group, and we'd have a youth mass in the evening on Sundays, and that was really my first exposure to contemporary Christian music, to old school praise and worship, songs like Shout to the Lord and The Days of Elijah and Awesome God, songs like that, very foundational songs of worship. So we got that up and running. And then fast forward even a few more years, I feel like at this point I was kind of untraining myself, reverting from everything that I learned, because I was, I used to sight read music and be able to play that way. And then I was kind of reverting to just, doing cool things with chords and teaching myself how to play worship music, which is, I guess my perception was just a little bit more simplified. So in high school, I switched parishes for youth ministry and joined a parish that had just a little bit more of a program. They were doing Life Teen at the time, and there was a Bible study and holy hour every Wednesday night, and that is where I really stepped into worship leading. Expressed to my youth minister that this is something that I felt was stirring in me, and that I felt the Lord really moving me in that direction of wanting to lead people in prayer and worship. And these holy hours were so special. It was always standing room only. It was a packed chapel. There's just such a purity in the room. Just the worship was so pure and holy, and it was just it was such a gift and a privilege to begin to lead worship at that point, to lead the chapel, to lead to lead everyone in worship. So
this is high school?
Yeah, this is high school, very early on in high school. And I guess, one thing led to another. Doors kind of began to open after I began leading there. I would start leading for a few retreats locally, at the parish, and then got to do some work with the Archdiocese of New Orleans, which is where I'm from. And, the Lord just began to open doors and to bring people into my life. And that's where I felt, this was the place that I felt that He was calling me to be. And like Father O'Hare and I were talking about recently, that, it's like there's really never this point of arrival. It's like a lot of musicians, like the dream is to tour and to play on big stages and to write great songs. And while none of those things are a bad thing, I think for me, I had the realization, a couple of years back that, well, there's really no point of arrival. I think the place that we hopefully land is to just constantly be obedient to what the Lord's putting in front of you, like today, which is a gift, and to be able to do this work is total gift. And I hope that what I do, regardless of who knows me or who I play for or where I play, I hope people see Jesus. And that's really the mission, is that I could hopefully facilitate an encounter with the Lord, and to be a good steward of the gifts that He's given me. Yeah.
That's a beautiful mission.
Thanks.
I'll say that.
Thanks, man. yeah, I'm grateful.
But a couple things had to line up, right? You had to have the aptitude, you had a good environment to grow that in, and you had to have people notice, like, hey, this guy's pretty good, right? You could have all the desires, but then if it maybe, I'm sure there is a skill that needs to be developed, and I think that is your responsibility to develop the skills. So I commend you for that. But yeah, you're saying it's not about me; it's about Jesus.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, I hope that people see that we can write great songs, and I think that is a way that we can glorify him. Songs that the church will sing, that gives him glory, that gives him honor. But I think often there can be a temptation that this work is about us, and that's the farthest thing from the truth. I think that for a while, like I maybe thought that it was about me, and that was a place that I didn't really want to be anymore, because I had this like realization in prayer over time that I was like, no, as exciting as this is, and like, people are engaging with my music and are being moved by my music. It's not about me. It's not about what I can do, but it's about what the Lord's doing through these songs. And we're only vessels, we're just vessels of his love, his grace, his mercy. So.
Does that mean you don't have a sense of performing? See what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
a musician who composes and I don't want, what other word is there besides perform?
Yeah.
Plays, I guess.
Yeah.
You compose and then you play in front of others.
Yeah.
But are you saying it doesn't feel like, or it's not intended to be performing?
Right. No, exactly. And I've done many events where the expectation is to be a performer, and I don't know if they go very well. Like I'm like, I think I probably royally disappointed that parish, because and it's not because I think that's not a bad thing, because I think there's a time and a place, and I think right people that are assigned, like that have a mission and a
Well, what's the difference?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that when you say there is a performance genre, and then there's what would you call it when it's not?
Yeah. I think for me that, and maybe it has something to do with my personality, but it's, I feel that I very much belong in a place that is, like if I didn't have to be in front of people, it's not that it bothers me, but I don't think I'm the most important thing in the room. Like I don't think that I have to put on a good show for someone, because really my audience is the Lord. I just need to show up for him and to point my attention to him. But back to what I'm saying, I don't think there's anything wrong with performance. I think in a culture that tells you that you have to perform to be to be validated or to be successful or to have worth or to have the world's approval, you kind of have to perform. And maybe we're talking about two different kinds of performance. We're talking about music performance. There's multiple meanings, sure. And my worth is based off of my performance, which of course that was like a struggle for me for a long time, is like, no, like I don't have to look or dress, or like I don't have to do anything to earn the Lord's love. It's, I just have to show up and to be, like I said, just like a really good vessel. Yeah.
I understand that, right? The performing aspect of, like, I don't know, an icon like a Prince or Freddie Mercury or these people. They put on big shows. Yeah. I don't want to say that's less of an art, but the way you're talking about it, like you are this vessel. Mm-hmm. God is kind of coming through you, and you're that vessel that's creating this music. Like, it seems very pure to me. So I enjoy that imagery that you're bringing up, a vessel.
Yeah, it's funny. I know you mentioned earlier off script that just how peaceful the music is, and how and I was joking that sometimes I can be called a musical epidural.
That's fun.
It's very just yep, okay, because the amount of times that people come up to me and they say, wow, yeah, my kids love falling asleep to your music, and I was like, well, don't listen to it while you're driving, you just want to make sure you stay awake. And but I'm glad that people find peace, and that's really the hope with, and I write some energetic songs. It's not a place that I was recently on a co-write with a few other artists, and we both write. I don't know if you know Sarah Kroger, but she and I were writing with another artist, and Andrew Laubacher, and Sarah and I are both in a very, like, we both write pretty calm music, very prayerful, very peaceful music, and we were both like, we're gonna write something really energetic today, and we're gonna see how this is gonna go. And it was in the afternoon, and we were both like just like exhausted, and we were like, we'll just see how it goes. But anyway, so we don't generally, I don't generally write energetic songs, but I do hope that people are able to encounter the Lord and rest in His presence and see His beauty, in the songs that I write. That's really the heart. Yeah.
I can offer a testimony, that one of the ways you can pray is just go into a church and be in silence. You can do that. Mm-hmm. You can go to a church and read a passage of scripture. You can go into a church and read a passage from a spiritual book. Yeah. Or another option is to put in I always get to think of earbuds or earbuds.
AirPods? Or earbud? Yeah.
Earbuds, AirPods. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I get confused.
AirPod is a type of earbud.
There, that's what confuses. That. And choose songs that draw you into prayer. Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of them that do. Mm-hmm. So just that's something that your music does for people. It's the fruit of prayer, and it can actually literally be an instrument to help them enter into prayer.
Yeah. So John, could you give us a little bit of insight into your vocation? What is it that you do?
Yeah. Well, I'm a husband. I've been married for 5 years to my wife, Molly. And we were blessed with a baby girl, and her name's Sophie, about a year ago. So she's 13 months old. So that is my vocation. But I'm also very grateful to be a musician. And I serve, first and foremost, I serve at home first. Here we go. No, I serve God, and then I serve at home, and then I serve my parish, and then I serve everyone else. That's what I try to do. That's really the hope. I don't know if I do it very well.
That was well said.
I try. Molly, if you're watching, no. But I'm grateful to have the privilege of going out and to minister at different parishes. I write and record music and offer parish missions and lead music for retreats, conferences, holy hours, things like that. Mm-hmm. And then very, very faithfully try to serve my parish on Sundays when I can, when I'm home, and also the surrounding area. I work with a couple Catholic schools and do campus ministry and music for campus ministry. And I'm just really, really blessed to get to serve locally and also getting to travel. So it's a gift. It's a total gift.
And then recording, right?
Yeah. So, and then recording. Yeah. I mean, I've put out a few full length projects, but these days, just release singles. It's kind of the way to get music out. And so I've recently put out a few singles and have an EP coming up really soon, and then have some other project ideas, hopefully, in the near future. So yeah, very, very excited, and it's a gift. Yeah.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Well, John, thank you very much. Thank you for shining a little bit of light on what it is that you do. Thank you for being a vessel for people to encounter Jesus through your music. Thank you for the Lenten worship night that you led here in St. Louis. And I wish you all the best.
Thanks, man.
And God bless you and your family.
Thank you guys so much. Just a total gift to be here. So appreciate you guys. Yeah. Thanks for all that you do.